Hi everyone, I'm Arivanandan Arumugam, a MBA student at UTM Space, specializing in leadership and management. Today, I would like to interview one of the great living leader that our country has seen, and a gentle and humble person by heart, as I have witnessed since I knew him personally from the year 2008. He is none other than Chairman of National Water Services Commission SPAN, YB Charles Anthony Santiago. So before begin, let me share some background about our YB Charles. YB Charles is a successful Malaysian politician from the Democratic Action Party, DAP, a component party of Pakatan Harapan Coalition, who is now the chairman of the National Water Services Commission SPAN, as I mentioned earlier, for the second term since 2023. And for the first time, uh, he was a chairman of SPAN from November 2018 until to April 2020. Also, he is a chairman of Association of Southeast Asia Nations Parliamentarians for Human Rights, APHR. Moreover, as everyone know, YB Charles served as Member of Parliament from Klang uh, from March 2008 to November 2022. So prior to his election, he was an economist and worked for non-governmental organizations such as Coalition Against Water Privatizations and Monitoring Sustainability of Globalization Malaysia. Also, he was a chairman of Human Rights and Consultation Affairs Select Committee from December 2019 to November 2022. So now let's welcome our YB Charles to begin our session today on the topic transformational leadership. Okay, YB. Uh, so YB Charles Santiago is here. So good morning, YB.
Morning, Avi. Morning.
Okay, how are you today?
Good to see you after a long time. And good
Yeah,
that you're doing this program as well.
yes, YB. And thank you. Really appreciate your time. Okay, so YB, I'm honored to have you join us for this discussion and looking forward to the possibility of learning from your experience and sharing your wisdom with our audience. So let me start with my first question. So can you tell us about your journey to become a leader in our community and what experiences or milestones shape your leadership style?
Um, uh, Challenging question, I must say, though. I think there are many ways uh, leaders are shaped differently. And my leadership strategies or my leadership qualities or values are premised on responding to the plight and problems faced by the poor people today. That's the first priority. So, in conjunction with responding to the vulnerable situation of the poor or the marginalized or vulnerable communities, some the issues that I always focus on is actually on issues of inequality, economic inequality between the rich and the poor. And the strategies that I look for is to close the gap between the rich and the poor. This is something that is very important because one of the criteria, one of the repercussions of this system that we have is the growing gap between the rich and the poor. Uh, Whether it is economic gap or whether it's a digital divide or even housing distribution between the rich and the poor, it is the poor who always lose out. So I always felt that it's important to promote the interests of the poor, but at the same time to also create um, a group that is actually very what do you call it? That has capacity to move up the ladder, to move up the ladder. So as a result of that, I look at social protection policies, uh,
Okay.
and now I'm also I look at what do you call climate, uh, so and also issues of forced labor.
Thank you, YB. So normally I'm aware YB is always a people champion. So of course your answer is nothing like new for me. So how would you describe your leadership styles? Are there any specific principle or values that guide your approach to the leadership?
I think one is consultative. It means whatever the issues that we are doing, we
Mm,
involve all the stakeholders in the decision-making process. And whatever the discussions are, we have to come up with some kind of a solution. But that solution is driven not by one group, but by a variety of ideas, variety of stakeholders who actually leads to coming to that conclusion. And also, I think in this country we need to celebrate diversity. We are a beautiful country, but and then we have many races, religions, culture, indigenous communities, and so on. But we don't behave like we are a united country. That we agree on a lot of things. Today, a lot of things split us as a society. So I
mm,
think what we need to do is to celebrate that diversity, uh, celebrate that goodness in others, good values in others, good practices in others. I think this is really quite important.
yes,
So
yes, YB, really. Yep.
one is
Sorry,
one
sorry.
is one is consultative. That means all stakeholders are involved in it,
Mm,
and then that means and also in this consultative process, normally the poor do not have a say, do not have a voice. But I think one of the things that I like to do is to make sure that the most vulnerable community has a voice in the decision making process. And but of course you consult everybody, but they also have a process. Normally, their 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 voice is missing. Their voice is
mm,
missing. So I think
mm.
we need to get that voice on board. Whether you're looking at climate emergency, whether you're looking at social protection policies, housing policies, or even your how you want to beautify your environment around you. All of that requires people who have been affected by it.
Okay, maybe this is really well said, and of course, your my questions already like the you already answered my questions. The next question, so the next question will be like, what is the most important qualities of traits of an effective leaders, especially in today's rapidly changing world? And I can see from your answer that you give the opportunity means to voice out, and at the same time you look at the people who really need help, and of course you treat everyone equal. So from the point of whatever you're saying, all this quality is there. So but on top of that, for a general in a general, what type of quality or traits should a leader should have?
I think the first thing is integrity, that you're committed to what you're doing,
Mm,
and that you are not there to take advantage of people. So, for example, today, one of the most hated professions is what you call is a politician, because nobody trusts politicians.
mm,
They think politicians are there to make money, to acquire wealth, and they're not wrong, because that is the perception everywhere in the world, not only in this country but everywhere. Politicians are known, to acquire wealth, to cheat people, to run scams, those kinds of things. So we need to bring back hope. A lot of countries do not have hope anymore. Sometimes in Malaysia, in innocent moments, we also think that there's no hope in this country, and that you can see by people leaving the country. Quite a number of the middle class people who have been educated by the government itself are contemplating leaving the country to go elsewhere, Australia, New Zealand, US, it's everywhere except the Malaysia. So I think we have given politicians in this country have given a bad name to politics, and that's for the faith in the political process is no longer as what it was before. Before you trust your politician, you trust your leader, but now you don't trust them anymore. People generally don't have faith anymore in the
mm,
political process.
mm,
So therefore, I think what do you call it? These are issues that we have to address. And I think therefore the first thing that any politician or any leader has to have, whether you are NGO, whether you are a business leader, is integrity. Is integrity. So people can trust you, people can trust the process. And together with the integrity, you need to set up a governance mechanism in which you actually go by, principles in which you go by. So that means there's a check and balance, the system that you have. It's public, everybody knows exactly what is happening.
mm.
There's no hiding of money or hiding of decision-making process, nothing like that. It's publicly known, and you work on what you have. So I think integrity is the number one. Uh,
Transparency. Yes.
Transparency, governance, those kinds of issues.
Okay, thank you, YB. And next, I have witnessed how much you and your team have contributed to the people of Klang, regardless of race, religion, even sometimes you don't bother about the nationalities. You help all the foreign workers as well, especially during the pandemic period. So when you were in MP, you were being the MP Klang. So that's a great job. So I really my personal appreciation for that. So, can you share any specific challenges you have faced as a leader during the pandemic and how you navigated your team?
I think during the pandemic, I think it was really a coming together of what Malaysia can be, where everybody, whether you're poor, you're rich, whether you're Chinese, Malay, or Indian, or when Orang Asli, everybody came together to help each other. This notion of kita jaga kita, I think that was really very good. Whether it was money, whether it was resources, people just gave to help others. So I think that is the beauty of this country, not in times of crisis, and sometimes not in times of crisis. People reach out. They don't say, "Oh, this is only for people with white color hair," or "This is for only for people with brown color hair." No, they said, "Give it to anybody who deserve it." And so we were just the middle ground. We receive and then we give it away. We receive whatever money, whatever food, or whatever we just gave it away. And during the pandemic, both during the COVID as well as the floods, we supplied tons and tons of vegetables to people. Sometimes people, when I go to client, people remind me, "Hey, thank you very much. You did all of that, A, B, and C. Give up so much of stuff and so on and so forth." So sometimes it's good to hear that people still
Yes,
remember.
remember. Yes, of course. Maybe. So next, the question is related to pandemic as well. So pandemic has brought about significant changes in the way we work and interact. So how do you think the post-pandemic world will impact the leadership strategies and practices?
I think this is a very challenging question though. When time of a crisis,
Mm,
everybody comes together, everybody puts their mind, puts their energy, puts their resources, including money, on the table to help others. But when it comes to post-pandemic, I am actually worried that we are not preparing ourselves for the next pandemic. And sometimes pandemics don't have to be, huge moments where you have massive floods and massive this. You don't have to be that. We already can see that we already have a problem with the environment. I don't see strong efforts by people, by government to start preparing for that day. I think we need to have an early warning system, for example, that works.
mm,
I mean, they might have it, but does it work? Do people know?
mm,
You spend millions of dollars developing an early warning system, but
mm,
do people really know that there's something called an early warning system?
mm,
And how are you going to educate people if you have it? How are you going to educate people that yes, we have it, and this is how you use it?
mm,
Because no point you having the technology when
mm,
nobody knows how to access it or how to use it. Uh, I think this is important. And increasingly, I'm reading about the El Nino impact that will come to Malaysia. It's going to be lots of floods. I think the government should start educating people on what happens when there is a flood. So, what are the documents that you need to keep ready just in case your house is flooded? What do you need to do? And then also to what do you call it? Talk to local authorities,
mm,
including the JPS, on at the local level to prepare people on the ground. And what are the government efforts in order to heighten or increase or upgrade the infrastructure in the area? This is really quite important. And also people's important. And what people should be doing, how they should park their cars, where they should park their cars, if there's what is the emergency number, all of that uh, is not properly, cascaded down to the people on the ground. I think this is important. I mean, the stuff that I'm reading about El Nino now,
mm.
Malaysia will be looking at more floods in the next couple of months. So therefore, we need to start preparing. And I think we need to start soon as opposed to later. Don't do it when it's already flooding, but do it much earlier so people are planned, people are ready, and people can know what to do. Stage one, stage two, stage three, and stage four.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir. So the mitigation before a thing happen or disaster happen is very important, rather than we regret after the incident.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, we got
And also,
seen the situation during the flood in Sri Muda, and also the big flood in Klang. So how YB handle the things, and sometimes even it's not your place or your area that you are dealing with, but still hand over your help to others. So this is really remarkable things that you have done, YB.
thanks. And also, I think Sri Muda is a important case in point. Because of it's a flood prone area, the rental there has come down. And from what I understand, a lot of people who own houses, they are there. But those who are renting houses have left.
Mm,
So I think this is a sign that we have to keep in mind
mm,
that there will be places that will be affected. And government has to do something about this, or including people themselves, local councils
mm,
especially.
mm,
So, and also, I remember going 6 months to Sri Muda after the floods, and I asked people, "Hey, how come your houses are not painted? You haven't painted your house."
mm,
They couldn't paint the house because it was still moist. The walls were moist, and there was still water on stocked in the floor. So you can see, even after 6 months, while the flood technically is over, but
mm,
the houses are still have problems,
mm.
and this has health implications.
Yes, yes. So the recovery plans for
Yeah,
after incident, um
yeah.
mitigation problem was not there. Okay.
The post
Uh,
the post
yeah.
recovery is very poor actually.
Okay, maybe. Hopefully, the authorities will be heard on your suggestions and ideas that you are giving. Hopefully, and next will be YB. The collaboration and adaptability have become increasingly important in today's interconnected and fast-paced world. So, how do you foster collaboration and adaptability within your team? Means adaptability to the current trend or uh, situation, or any kind of new things that brought over, then how you adopt the things in your leadership.
I think there are two things. One is about leadership, and the other is about building consensus. We need to have an overall strategy, overall aim on what is it that we want done. So
Mm,
once that overall aim is established within your team, and everybody can agree, okay, this is where we want to go. This is exactly what we want to do. Then it's about organizing a system, or a structure in order to achieve that goal. But for both to happen, to develop the structure, you need to empower people. You need to get people on board. You need
mm,
to get a buy-in from people that this is the way to do it. So that means they have to be part of the process from day one. You just simply cannot wake up in the morning and say, okay, you do this, you do this, you do this. No,
mm,
you have to look at them. You have to say, let's sit down, let's talk, let's come up with a plan. This is the aim. Aim is one, two, and three. This is the organizational structure, who's going to do what, and how it is going to be done, and everybody just does that. So I think central to that process is empowerment and consensus building. We can't, all of us don't have to agree on everything that we do. We don't have to do that. And it's also not fair to expect that in every organization, people agree on everything. But if you would talk to them, if you have a buy-in, then people think, okay, lah, I understand. I understand the
mm.
reason why you're doing it. I can support this thing. Okay, let's do that. Let's do this. So everybody feels that they are not marginalized.
Mm.
Everybody feels that they're part of the process.
Okay, thank you, YB. So the once we come to the last question. So this is I can say a challenging. It's a very general, but still it's a very challenging question, I think so. So looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges for leaders in our community, and do you plan to address them? Because we seeing a lot of challenges facing, especially with the good leaders with the integrity, facing a lot of challenges to survive in this country. So, do you have anything to address about this?
I think today people go into politics to make money, to acquire power, and sometimes they have no other job to do, so they go into politics. There's no sense of a struggle. There is no sense of uh, you know um, a struggle to make a country better. Struggle to make, for example, to fight against poverty, for example. That struggle no more exists. Today, I want to go into politics so that because I can't find a job anywhere, so I
Mm,
go into
mm,
politics. And then number two, I want to promote myself so that I have a career for the next 15 years. And then I can, be a leader or a minister and so on and so forth. So I think basically what is required is going back to basics, going back to basics that leaders, members of parliament, or the state assembly people, or even corporate leaders must go back to the basics of who put them there and why they were put there. So we need to build democracy in this country, or rather, I should say, we should need to rebuild democracy in Malaysia. Right now, democracy is in the hands of the rich. We need to democratize it. We need to get people, the average person, to believe that the system works. People increasingly are far removed from the democratic system. Though. People don't trust it anymore. People don't trust it anymore. So therefore, we have a great job, a big job, to go back to basics and bring people along and talk to people through consensus building and through and accept the narrative. And that narrative is a common narrative that we have in this country. So I think we have a challenge. A major challenge is one, people don't believe in the system as much as they did before. That's number one. Number two, we need to. This is a very polarized country. On a whole lot of areas, it's very polarized. Whether it's education, whether it's religion, whether it's employment, it's very polarized. So that polarization has to be minimized. I'm not going to say it'll be solved or it'll be eliminated, but I think it has to be minimized. I think we need to see that if you're a B40 person, uh, whether you're a Chinese B40 or an Ashley B40 or Indian B40, you should be considered the same for government support, especially if you're B40. Government support for B40 must be same for everybody. It cannot be better for one group and not for the others. I think this one has to change. So therefore, we have to bring trust. We have to bring hope that things can change, and that there are leaders in this country who will push for that change.
Oh, that is a very strong message to everyone, YB. Thank you very much. So your extensive experience and insightful contribution prove how transformational leadership can drive positive change, especially today's rapidly evolving global landscape. So we believe that your insights offered invaluable knowledge to our audience, and you are really inspiration for me, and of course inspiration for many others in this country, YB. So thank you very much for your precious times. So I'm really appreciate it, and we should keep going and bring good changes to our society and also our country. All the best. So anything you
Thanks,
want to
Hari.
say lastly before we wrap up to
I
everyone?
think this, I think this is a beautiful country,
Yeah.
and everybody has a place in this country. Nobody should feel marginalized. Nobody should feel that they have no place in this country. I think, of course, it's easy to say, but as I said, we need to work. We need to work harder to bring everything together. All the parts must come together so that people can say, this is my country. But there are not many people say today.
Yes, yes.
But it's a problem everywhere. It's not only in Malaysia. The problem is happening everywhere. So that's a good part.
So yeah.
But we need to work hard. We need to work
Yes,
harder.
yes. Everyone love our country, but there are certain things need to be changed. So we need
Yeah.
leaders like you and many others. So thank you very much, YB, again for your wonderful time and good sharing. And hope it's worth for everyone, all the viewers. All the best and good day to you, YB. Bye bye.
Thanks. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for this. Thank you very much. Best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you.